The bounty hunters. All right, sending in first test drone in 3, 2, 1, initiating teleportation. Slytherin says out loud as he has a simple Kutha line go through the teleportation sequence, and the small drone vanishes in an axiom swell. It's away. Yeah, but Sally begins before the wall lights up and begins showing nothing. Switching to thermal optics. Bingo, Slytherin says with a grin. The play of warmth and cold shows something blazing warm surrounded by something cool with a very familiar shape. The armor? With a leg in it, something is alive, Slytherin says as he commands the drone to turn and nothing happens. Drone seems to be stuck. Wherever this other place is, there's not enough room. That thing was smaller than my hand, Sally notes, and there's not even enough room for that. So whatever we're looking at, it's packed in tight. Slytherin notes before fiddling with the camera. We can only really move the camera. The rotors are jammed where they are not registering as damaged. Looks like the side of a ship, and a big bug at the same time. It may be, but I'm counting at least 9 legs on this side alone, all of them generally in the same configuration, Slytherin says as he considers. All right, let's start the retrieval teleport and see if something happens. "Kay," Sally says as Slytherin starts up the sequence and pours in energy. The small dark gray drone appears, but then something slams through the way through and shatters it, and there's a sudden bang as Sally proves her credentials as a quick draw and gets whatever the hell came out. There's a tense silence as they wait to see if there's any more entertainment on the way. But nothing happens. There is now a thoroughly smashed drone on the table and another one of those armor pieces that Slytherin made earlier. But this one has a pale brown tendril sticking out of it that suddenly ends in a jagged and bruised edge where Sally literally shot it off. Green fluids seep out of the severed limb and pool on the table. "Well, that was more exciting than I thought it'd be," Sally notes she doesn't notice as an utterly silent figure looks in from the doorway and begins watching. "Good shooting," Slytherin says before picking up the bit of armor and considering it. "Looks like we got something else to test now. Thanks, little snake boy. Now, how y'all gonna test that?" Sally asks as she reloads her revolver, very much on guard in case whatever that was decides it wants to try again. "Medically, I thought we were looking at a bug, but a tentacle capped with armor? Blunt armor, then used to stab no less. There's something very, very weird going on here." "Oh, now it's weird, is it? Not when you were poking into dream worlds to find stolen metal and missing people?" "Nah, that's pretty boring, all things considered. The hell have you been getting up to, boy?" "A lot," Hal answers. "That don't tell me much. It wasn't supposed to. It's one of those. Not an answer, answers. Lil smartass. You'd rather I be a dumbass? Nope. Smartass it is then. Gotta save me. None can save you now." Slytherin cackles and Sally groans. "So seeing as how everyone is nice and cheerful, I'm going to assume the gunshot wasn't one of you getting hit," Tang notes from the doorway. Neither had noticed him, so he may as well act like he just arrived. "I poked the beast, and when it tried to poke back, Sally shot it," Slytherin explains and receives a nod in return. "And from the looks of that severed tentacle thing, you're being literal. Nice, huh?" Tang notes before leaning out. "All clear so far. You can unclench." "Wooden tarnation?" Sally asks quickly, poking her head of the room and seeing several massive figures in armor walk out of sight. "Them big girls certainly like their armor. It's cultural. Canadors are the premier women in the galaxy for heavily armed soldiers. These ones are crimson hewers, which means they like their armor even more than most Canadors," Tang says. "So does that mean it stays on when they're having a real party?" Sally asks as she throws the dirtiest tone she can into the end of her question. "You'll have to ask the hat. He's the one they're partying with," Tang says before leaning over. "Yes," Sally snorts in amusement, even as Slytherin makes a disgusted sound. "The hell are y'all grossed out for? Ain't you a teen and not a toddler?" "Lady, he's like my uncle. If it's family, it's gross." Slytherin answers and Sally outright scoffs at him. "So what do you think you're dealing with? A metal-tipped tentacle is a weird-as-hell thing. I don't know, I spotted a lot of legs, but there wasn't any room to move the drone, and it was a smaller one, too. Looks like I'm going to have to break out a really small drone to actually make out what the hell's in there. Those ones are annoying to slap together. Still, if you need something the size of your thumbnail to take a proper look at things, then you need something the size of your thumbnail to look at things. Yep. But first, let's get this under scanners to get at least an idea on what the beast on the other side is, Slithern says as he picks up the armored tentacle. He then puts it down and begins looking around for some kind of proper container. He doesn't want it to drip. As a Nagasha, he's almost guaranteed for it to smear over the underside of his tail. And that's just disgusting to think about. He comes up with a large baggie after about 20 seconds of casing the room and puts the entire thing in it. He then seals it and then tags the room for a cleaning drone to come in and nullify whatever the hell the tentacle has been dripping onto the table. He has the room more or less sealed behind him after he ushers Sally out and then starts moving through the ship to get to the infirmary. There is a gentle humming when he arrives as Cindy is gently rocking the baby Orhannes. Oh, what's that? This is what reached back when I started poking at wherever my beacons have ended up. Apparently it doesn't mind new things like drones showing up, but gets upset and grabby when you take it back. Sally here shot it off when it startled us. Oh dear, I suppose you want it tested? Yes, I thought the thing was a huge insect or arachnid at first, but it's a tentacle, something we don't exactly see that often on crustaceans of any kind, Slithern notes. I see. Put it down the table over there. I'll get to it shortly. But with the little one here. I'm not expecting every answer in the next 20 seconds. This is an old mystery. We can take our time, Slithern assures her, even as he slithers over and places down the sample. Then he shifts over to get another look at his new little sister. So have you thought of a name yet? Still considering, to be honest, although Mr. T has informed me that her nickname is going to be Booger no matter what I say. The oversized cretin. Cindy grumps a little and Slithern huffs in amusement. All right, so what do you think of Susie? Slithern asks. That's a terrible joke, Cindy chides him. Jubilee, Sally offers, and Cindy looks considerate. Something that starts with a B, so it makes the Booger nickname stick a bit better? Slithern offers, and Cindy gives him a disapproving look. What? You know what, Cindy says before double-taking and looking at him harder. Are your implants damaged? Superficial. I'm fine. No, you're not without me clearing it. On a bed, I'm going to scan you for possible damage. But Mom, don't you but Mom me. On the bed? I'm in the middle of an investigation. And you'll still be in the middle of an investigation in 20 minutes when I'm done making sure you haven't developed a brain aneurysm due to overcharged or off-pattern feedback from your implants. But now, young man, Cindy tells him, even as she places the still unnamed infant down in her crib. She then turns and points at the bed she wants him on, and he sighs before slithering up to and then onto it. I know you don't like the idea of being vulnerable, but you avoid being vulnerable by making sure you're in good health. I know, but nothing happened. My fingers are working fine, and I can still control my drones with ease. I don't even have a smudge in my vision, so my eyes fine too. Then this will be just a quick scan for you and a light scare for me. Nothing more. Now sit still, young man. All right, Mom, he says before slumping into himself a little. Oh, drop the drama, you silly boy. You can wait 20 minutes for a thorough scan. I know, he says before sighing. Well, and here I was worried that there boy had grown up too quick. But nope, still a boy, Sally comments. That's enough unhelpful comments. Then how's about a name based on color? Kind of plain, but it should suit her. There's like 1,000 different languages out there, so y'all are spoiled for choice if y'all just want to take the easy way and call the little lady green. Or if you want to be funny, you can give her a name that directly translates to not named green or something. That way you can say she hasn't been named green. Slithern jokes and Sally snaps her fingers and points at him. Yes, him. He has the right idea. I'm not going to give her a joke for a name, Cindy protests. I'm just trying to think. I wanted to call her Pearl, but pearls are made by mollusks when they can't get something irritating away and instead cover it with a smooth surface to keep themselves safe. I don't want to call her annoying. She's just a baby. You think you might be overthinking this, Mom? Slytherin asks. Well, maybe. Then I think about how she's literally the first of her people to ever leave her homeworld, and to many people she's going to the ambassador of the Orhanas. Even if she never holds an official title like that, she's historical for her people already. She needs a name to reflect it. Y'all are really overthinking this. Legendary names don't start that way. They're made that way by those that used them. If the little lady is going to be so important, then her name really don't matter. Because no matter what it'll be, it's going to be a big name because she's going to make it big. Even if it's just 2 letters like me or C, Sally says, and Cindy thinks about that, mulls it over, and then clearly agrees as she smiles. Thank you. That's actually a big help. I was so concerned. Cindy notes even as the scanning beams pass over both Slytherin and the sample be brought. Despite everything, Cindy is still on the ball. There's an alert from the scanner with the sample, and she rushes over. What is it? Slytherin asks as he makes to move off the bed. You stay there, young man. Let the scanning finish properly. Cindy chides him as she examines the results. Yes, I suppose that makes a great deal of sense. This thing, whatever it is clearly artificial, meaning whatever chance your big mystery had of being the result of some odd animal with axiom powers is vanishingly small and growing more so. What are the signs? There are numerous abrupt shifts in the pattern of this creature's DNA. Whatever it is, it's blatantly artificial, and Cindy is cut off as the baby starts fussing, and she hurries over to the crib to comfort the little mollusk. After she quiets down, Cindy sits on a bed with the babe and gently rocks her. It's blatantly artificial, and there's no consistency in the changes beyond them all being very crude. It's like whoever was designing it has changed their mind several times throughout the process and never bothered restarting. Or maybe it was designed by several different people and none of them had the same end goal or method. Either way, this thing is inefficient, badly made, and likely has a lot more surprises than normal features. Even if some of those surprises are things like the tendency to cancer and cellular degeneration I spotted in the patterns. Y'all can just read that out of them spirals? Sally asks. They're very common concerns the galaxy over. Most medical students can easily spot the markers after their 3rd year of studies, especially if they have a half-decent scanning system. And while the one here isn't cutting edge, it is a very solid and thorough scanner. So, whatever this thing is, it was grown directly into the armor and was never intending to take it off. It's also showing the signs of being rejuvenated with axiom, but badly done as well. So there's no way to casually tell how old the flesh actually is without a much deeper scan. There is another chime, and after the now somewhat fussy baby is settled again, Cindy checks the scan results. All right, son, you're free to go. There is no sign of strain in your nervous system from the damage, and the damage on your implants is superficial at its worst. But please be more careful. I will. Besides, I've got Sally with me. From the looks of her, I'd have to lock at least 5 doors to keep her away from my next poking of the beast. 6 and no less, Sally corrects him. I stand corrected, Slytherin states. Yes, will you keep your gun ready to defend my boy? I don't know what this thing is that you're poking at, but I already don't like it. Your boy's safe, don't you worry.